Hey guys, what's going on? Velocity Motorsport here today for the end of an era, the end of the F1 2020. My team career mode, last to first at Austria.
Yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Stroll, Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, and Ricciardo, Sainz, Vettel, Gasly, and Alexander Albon, Ocon, Russell, Lando Norris, and Kvyat, Giovinazzi, De Vries, Mick Schumacher, and Kevin Magnussen. Latifi, the owner-driver, Perez, and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay then guys, so we are going to be starting from 20th due to grid penalties, but we didn't set a lap in qualifying. 70% AI for this weekend, as always. And yeah, basically, pretty much last to first. We're going to be going from the mediums to the soft compound of tyres, going for a bit of an overcut today. Going to hopefully catch out those drivers who use their tyres in, well, qualifying. So very excited for today's race. Let's hope Checo can have a good one. Because I was going to replace him after this race, but something went wrong. I tried to sign Seb for a final episode, but it didn't happen. He declined me, basically. So I feel very rejected, and I want to cry in a corner, but we're going to have to deal with it. So, yeah, let's just get into the race, guys. There is a little bit at the start, but right now my editing software is actually kind of messed up. So, it's probably not loading anything at the minute. Well, for me, it's not loading anything, but in the background, there should be some content going on. And we do start again after we flash back in the first corner. So, yeah, guys, let's get into the actual footage now, because you're seeing some cool stuff going on. And here we go. So now, into the stuff I can see, making a dive bomb into turn 1. We get ourselves up into P11. We're now toe-to-toe with Esteban Ocon, who we do get ahead of, and there is a driver out of the session, I believe that is. And now we're going to go for a dive bomb going into turn 2. And we overtake 2 cars there. Maybe 3 if we can get a decent exit. But we do get Sainz and Sebastian Vettel. We do exceed track limits there. And now we're in a drag race with the McLaren of Carlos Sainz. And he has got ahead again. But we are going to make another little dive bomb. Getting a bit of slipstream. And we get damage. So we are going to flash back there. Because I accidentally went into the back of him. But we're going to dive down the inside when I think we finish flashbacking. Or, as you can see here, we turn on the overtake, we get ahead of him, and we cover him off so we can't get ahead of us like he did. So learning from mistakes there. Did have a little look at Ricciardo. We have to go round the outside here, so we attempt to go around the outside, but there's no traction on that grass. And we get hit again, so we're going to have to flash back again, so we don't get completely battered by Carlos Sainz, who seems to have a vendetta on me. So we're going to keep the overtake on for a bit longer, a bit of a tap on it to give me a bit more power going into this corner. Slowing down really early here. But then that means we get a better exit, meaning we can keep close to Ricciardo with keeping Sainz behind us. Yeah, first few laps, like, there's literally nothing sped up in this video because it's all action, 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 and I think you're going to really like it. So, yeah, so we are now just sat behind Danny Ricciardo. We're going to look to make a move later on in in a couple of laps, maybe at the end of, maybe at the start of the next lap, actually. Because the best places to overtake on this track are corners 1, 2, and 3. So going into this corner at the end of this straight here, that is corner 1. I consider it a corner anyway. That is the best place to make dive bombs off the start. That is one of the places to make overtakes in your early stages if you're starting towards the back. And then at the end of this straight, there is another corner, the infamous dive bomb area. And we will make a lot of dive bombs going into this corner throughout this track, throughout this race. And as you can see again, going down the inside of Danny Ricciardo. And it is clean move. And that is another overtake there, up into P7 from P20, so that's 13 positions gained in 2 laps. And this here is another place I consider a decent overtaking area, because if you're brave on the brakes and you have decent brake upgrades, you can dive down the inside and keep it, but you can hang it around the outside and be risky, and I love to make overtakes here. But the rest of the track is all about doing well in these medium speed corners here and keeping up to pace with all the other cars. That is the best thing to do. And of course, as I say that happens. But yeah, if you're wondering, guys, why this is the end, and if you're wondering, you know, what's going to happen to F1 content, this is not the end of F1 content. Maybe. If I get bored, I'll play a bit of online, but we're really waiting until next year. We're going to pre-order the game, and we're going to see what we can do from pre-ordering the game, because My prediction is if we had pre-ordered the game, we would have had it in between FIFA 20 and 21. We would have played it loads more. We probably would be in Season 4 right now. And I'd be like, you know what, Season 4, good place to end it off. Perfect. So, yeah, like that would just be that. So, yeah, so we now have DRS enabled. We take a bit of a wider line there, and it actually gains us quite a lot of time. I've seen pros do that before. That's the only time I did it, and it was mostly by accident. And I was like, you know what, sure. So we use a bit of DRS here, and George Russell is retired basically. And I was hoping that there wouldn't be a safety car, and there was not. We get a pretty decent exit here, and now Monsieur Gasly is the next car to overtake. I kept saying, "Come here, Monsieur Gasly." Because why the fuck not? You got a problem with it, then I might try. But, you know, we're now trying to keep up with Pierre Gasly, and then ahead of him is Charles Leclerc. Hopefully we're going to overtake him as well, because Charles Leclerc. But yeah, I think my favourite part of this circuit has got to be the first sector because of all the overtaking opportunities. The second corner, when you're not trying to overtake someone, is really difficult because you got to get it perfectly. But as you can see, a mechanical failure for Mr. George Russell, who is pulled over there to the side. Unfortunate bud. And yeah, so we've now got DRS on Gasly, and we've broken the DRS to Danny Ricciardo, which means we can now finally have a go at Pierre Gasly going into this corner.
Some information on Kvyat. They are out of the race.
So yeah, here we go. We're going to go down the inside here, looking for a bit of a dive bomb. Purple first sector, and it is a very clean dive bomb on Pierre Gasly. Bit of corner cut there, but the FIA have nothing wrong with it. So it is what it is, and now onto the next lap now, only 5/10 behind Charles Leclerc, and it seems like we're going to go for the same thing again. So DRS, overtake button, and in rich mix, and we're going to go down the inside of not only Leclerc, but Verstappen as well. And we go for the same little corner cut, but Verstappen's having none of it. I don't know if he gets damage, I don't think he does, but he puts up a bit of a fight there and ends up potentially breaking his front wing. And on to the next lap again, looking at P3, the podium positions in 8 laps. We are closing in on Lewis Hamilton, Mr. OBE, and we're going to go for another dive bomb here, and we get it. Purple first sector again, and look at that, we slow down a bit, we speed up then again, which makes Lewis Hamilton back out of turning into the corner, therefore meaning he can't come back at us that easy. And now on the same straight, Lance Stroll doing really well in the racing point. We dive down the inside into that corner, which I was talking about. I didn't decide to dive down the outside because he was going on his normal racing line, so I just make a dive on the inside, cutting him off, and there we go. So on to lap number 10 now, a purple middle sector, 1, I think, millisecond up on our previous best time, and now into the final sector. This is probably one of the best times I took this final sector, and yeah, keeping it well within the compounds of the track here. We end up setting a 1.9 flat, pretty much. We'll say a 1 minute 9 flat. And now on to lap 16. We are now 24 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who has made a pit stop, but Bottas decided to stay out a bit later. Maybe that compromised him a bit, because those soft tyres could have gone a lot longer than 20 laps, that's all I'm saying. I think mine went on for about 21 laps, and I think the highest percentage I had was 73% on the left front. But now we make our first lap of the series, and we think that we're lapping Matsushita or Magnussen there. So into the pits we come for our stop. 72% on the front left tyre, now going up to 73%. So we could have potentially gone for another lap, but it would have been puncture territory in terms of risk. And those softs lasted us a full 22 laps. So very good. Valtteri could have gone in a bit earlier. But yeah, on come the soft tyres, and it's a 3.1 second stop, which isn't great. And here comes Valtteri now. He is going to retake the race lead, of course, but we have gained a little bit of time because he's 1.7 seconds ahead, but we are going to use a bit of overtake, and we are going to be on the soft tyres, meaning that if we get this corner even slightly alright, we are going to gain a lot of time. And as you can see, we take that corner very, very well, and we've managed to get the gap down to about 6/10. I think by the end of this we get it about down to 6/10, but I'm not sure, because we're just constantly closing in on Valtteri Bottas. And this middle sector's been pretty decent as well, may I say so myself. And we are now within 5 or 6/10 of Valtteri Bottas, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, closing in on the man in silver now, the silver arrow, of the Mercedes car, and of course we fuck it up, but we did set a purple middle sector, which gives me a bit of hope of a fastest lap today. We already have the fastest lap, and all the other cars have gone onto the mediums, so the chances are we would have kept that fastest lap anyway, but you'll see our fastest lap in a bit, because it is pretty nuts. So another purple sector there, and a pit stop's around 18 seconds, so we get about 4 seconds there. And as you can see, we are just closing in on Valtteri Bottas, and this should be the race lead here. DRS and overtake. We're going to gain a bit of slipstream from Valtteri. He tries to defend down the inside, but he knows he has to get out of the way. I slow down early, thinking I'm going to go into the back of him, but then I can just speed up again. And Valtteri pushes me into a drift and decides you can have that corner yourself. So a green sector and a purple sector. Lap 23, already 2.2 seconds ahead. I think this is like later in the lap. We are already 2 seconds ahead of Valtteri Bottas, which just basically says I've gone from last to first in this race. But there is still a bit of action to happen, including 2 big talking points, and this is one of them. A 1.072 lap time, and we lap Mick Schumacher now in the Haas car, and we are going to lap Kevin Magnussen and Nicholas Latifi in the Williams on the same lap a bit later on. So, those are 3 cars lapped, and now we also have Nick de Vries in the Haas lap as well, getting a bit of slipstream off him. And the next car, we overtake the 2 Alphas, and then the next car we have to lap is our own teammate, Sergio Perez, is getting lapped by me after I started from 20th, and he started from, like, 14th. Checo, mate, you're a brilliant driver in that, but get out my fucking way right now. This actually pissed me off. He literally got in my way, and I was like, you know, I'm going to do a side-by-side moment with him, and I'm going to go, look at this prick, he's so shit. Yeah, I think he kind of could know. I think I was saying over the radio, and he must have heard, because he tried blocking me off. But he would have got fined or something. But yeah, we get a bit of slipstream off Albon, and we actually do a proper overtake, like Alex Albon's actually racing me, and now it's the second Red Bull car. And now on to the final lap, guys, because we have a 25-second lead. I could have gone in for softs on lap 22, and I would have come out 5 seconds in the lead. But I actually started slowing down. I started saving ERS and stuff. So, comfortably tyre wear is manageable. And we didn't even drop off. Our tyres were so consistent in today's race, guys. And it looks like from 20th on the grid, we're going to pick ourselves up a race victory today. And it is a great way to end off the series with 3 wins in a row. And because the driver contract negotiation things did not happen till after the British Grand Prix, which is the next one, I had to simulate it, and I ended up finishing 13th. But Checo still finished behind me, which is brilliant, of course. So, you know, he finished B16. So, at the end of the day, you know, well, that's the end of the series. It's over. And, yeah, thank you guys for watching this series. It's been a fun ride. We've had so much fun. And let's hope for all a F1 2021 of dreams.
That's 3 wins in a row. Unbelievable work.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here at Austria. And a truly magnificent drive to hang on and take the win. Talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, when you overtake that many people, I'd certainly hope you'd win the race. Their car was really effective in the slipstream here today, and the team will be pleased that they didn't cook the engine, given how long they were spending in the hot air behind other cars. They had a lot of confidence to push their tyres hard as well, especially going into the corners, which allowed for some late braking and some exciting passes.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One.
So yes, guys, the series is done with 4 race wins in the series. We have come to an end, winning in Monza, winning in Austria, winning in Canada, and winning in Baku, of all places. And, yeah, it's been a lot of fun, this series. We're going to have to end it due to me having so much other stuff I want to do. But let's hope that next year's F1 is going to be sick, and let's hope that the transition between FIFA 21 and FIFA 22 means that we play more F1, and also the fact that I'm laying off FIFA 22. Let's just hope that that also means we can play a bit more F1, because You know, it's a lot of fun. I'd recommend this game to anyone, but wait till F1 2021. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you all for watching. Go check out my other channels. It's JK and Jake Plays Minecraft. See ya.